Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of In It Together. Just wanted to let you know that we did pre-record this Facebook Live segment because we were having so many internet connection issues, but not to worry. Tosh and I are going to be joining you on the live chat today, so I hope you can jump in and join the conversation. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Kirky, and your Director of Education here at PPA, and we're going to do another segment today on In It Together. Today, we are so fortunate to get to talk to Tosh Haynes. Let me just tell you my getting to meet Tosh. She actually spoke at Imaging USA for us this year, and it was the first opportunity that I had a chance to get to know her. And this woman is absolutely amazing. She is a phenomenal speaker, a fantastic educator. She loves photographers. She loves small business owners. And she's just a ray of sunshine. And so I feel really fortunate to get to chat with her today about this really important topic, which is self-care during this crazy, crazy time during this epidemic. So Tosh, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's so weird to be introduced and to like sit here and watch it happen. I'm like, no, thank you so much. I feel so honored. So thank you for
Well, you are one of those people who is just a bright light, and I think you're so encouraging of people. But every conversation I have with you is really founded in this place of honesty and authenticity, and the way that you live your life and the choices you make. And you are very what I've learned from you, because I hope that I'm learning from you, is you're very genuine in the decisions you make, and you're very what's the word I'm looking for? It's purposeful. Like every decision that you make is very, very purposeful in the way that you think about your world and the way that you treat the people around you and the way you treat yourself. And you just did a fantastic webinar for us on self-care. And so I thought you'd be a perfect person to chat with about kind of what's going on in our world right now.
Wow, crazy, right?
Yeah, it's a
None of
little
us
nutty.
ever thought. No, thank you so much. I try really hard to think about my values and to make intentional decisions and to not be swayed by what I see around me or what may even be like shiny off in the corner. So it means a lot to me that that is what people see when they look at me. So
Yeah, so we were talking earlier. I love this. So every time I get on a call with you, I'm always like, oh, I wish we were recording this. People need to hear this. It's such good stuff. Before our call started today, yeah, I heard you interacting with your daughter.
yes, Wisdom was eating lunch, and she's like been ignoring me for like all morning long. And then the minute I got on this Zoom, she wanted to see who I was talking to. So she came over and pretended like she needed a hug. And I'm like, girl, bye. You don't want a hug. So we do quiet time in our house for 2 hours every day from 1 to 3. That's usually when my baby takes a nap.
Yeah.
And so we just decided that there'd be like no electronics on, no sounds. It's just a time to like be quiet. And she was trying to get out of it. And so what you were seeing before we got on this call was her trying to like play me to get out of it. And what I was explaining to her is that quiet time is important for her to decompress and to make room in her brain for more information later on in the day. And I feel like quiet time is important for Ike and I as well, because we're all in this house all day long. And there's so much to think about, and there's so many things that are coming in. I think it's nice in the middle of the day to just take a pause from everything and just have some time to kind of process through our thoughts. So that's like a new tradition in our house since everybody's home.
I love
And
that.
I stick
Yeah.
to it. I'm like, nope, it's 1 o'clock. Everybody, it's after lunch, so your belly's full. It's the perfect time to go to sleep. So she can sleep or she can read, but no sounds, no noise.
I love that. I feel like that's one of those things that we all need right now is a little bit of downtime, right? A little bit of time to think and process what's going on. You know, we're seeing so much out in the world today of use this time wisely, and get all this stuff done, and look what you can accomplish, and and really I appreciate it because it's seeing the bright side of what's going on right now in our world, and trying to be proactive, and that's all fantastic and wonderful. But I think photographers and entrepreneurs can also be very hard on themselves, and
100%.
want to push all the time. And
Yeah.
so what's your thought, on how to kind of find that marriage between dealing with all the new challenges we're faced with right now? I mean, you're doing homeschooling now.
Yeah.
You weren't doing that before.
Homeschool mom. I am the worst, most impatient person that I know, I think, if I'm being honest. I think when it was like the first week of quarantine. So I'm in Washington State. We've been on quarantine now. We self-quarantined about a week and a half earlier than everyone else. Just because I could tell that like this was probably going to be a big deal. It seemed like people didn't really know what they were talking about, and that kind of concerned me. So I just pulled her out of school early. So we've been home for 6 weeks. It's been a long time. And I think when we first started out, I was pretty optimistic. Like I had this whole schedule and I was like, yes, like this is time for us to create programs and to write blog posts and to do all these things. Right. And then by week 2.5, I was like, oh my gosh, like, how are we going to get this stuff done? Right. Because your kids, they don't care that you have to work. They don't care that you're self-employed. What they see is that you're here. So why are you not giving them the attention? And so I had to really dial back and manage my expectations for this time and really think about what this time really meant. So I'm in agreement with maximizing this time if that is what you feel like will get you through, right? If that brings you joy and if working hard makes you happy, then absolutely. But I also believe that like it's hard for me to think about work. I can't even
Yeah.
get to a place where I can even consider work right now when I'm thinking about like, okay, what does this mean for like our life? And not having income right now and going through our savings unexpectedly. And like I'm not thinking about shooting. I'm thinking about, okay, how is my daughter, who now half of her school year has been taken away, going to be ready for third grade? And what does Courage need when she's learning how to walk and learning how to talk? I can't think about all of the things that are happening out there when there's so much in my house that's not stable. And so I feel like as photographers, there's always this pressure to be productive. And you would think with more time, like you should be producing. But I
Yeah.
think that it's okay if you're just in survival mode. And I think that it's okay to like deal with each day, each hour, each minute as it comes. If you feel like being productive and busting out some new whatever, then go for it. But if you feel like sitting on your couch and eating Reese's peanut butter cups all day long watching Ozark, that's okay too. I think we have to do what we have to do to survive this thing that no one knew was coming.
Absolutely.
We need to take the pressure off of ourselves and just relax a little bit.
Yeah, I think people need permission to do that because I do think that, the world right now is kind of sending it's again a hopeful message, but it's still, it's still a can be daunting, I think, to wake up in the morning and
What
deal
I've
with that.
decided now is I took a calendar out last week and I had this whole list of things that I wanted to accomplish during this time, since I know now that it's going to be like 5 months, like just a huge dream list. And I am working on like one thing a day.
That's
If I
awesome.
can get one thing done a day and then handle the rest of my life, I feel
Does
like
it
I'm
have to be a big thing? It could be a
it
small thing.
can be something. If I'm like, okay, today I'm going to work on my senior pricing and I'm going to get that dialed in. And that's the only thing that I've done for my business today. Or today I'm going to respond to all my emails because I know that I'm not going to be able to get back to this for another like 3 days. Cool. And I'm
That's
not
awesome.
I'm not counting on myself to be on email every single day. I'm not counting on myself to be editing anything, or I'm not going to be able to do that. So I've given myself permission to just take it as it comes. And I changed my status on my email to say I'm now I'm a work at home mom, but I'm more of a mom than I am working at this point.
Yeah.
So it's going to take 48 to 72 hours or so for me to get back to you. That's
That's
just
great. That was my next question is how are you messaging that to your clients?
Yeah, and and I'm online and I'm sharing our quarantine story. People can see my story. So they know that I'm actively being a mom right now, like our clients. And I think that they wouldn't expect anything less at this
That's very much part of your brand. I went and looked at your, well, I've looked at your website a long time ago,
point.
but just kind of re-perused it today, and that you actually that's who you define yourself as. You are a family portrait business, and you have family first.
Yeah, I mean, in every, like our families who are booking us, our seniors who are booking us, our wedding clients who are booking us, they know who they're booking. They're booking a husband-wife team with 2 children.
Yeah,
And so to expect that we would, yes, like money is important, but like our house is the most important. And so to expect that we would put our kids off to deal with wedding stuff or whatever is like, I think that's unrealistic. And I think really at this time, there's a lot of grace for people
I think
People
so.
know we're
Yeah.
all in the same boat. No
Yeah.
one's boat better than the other. Like, it doesn't matter. So I think if you ever needed permission, now is the time to take it. There's just so much grace right now.
That's really true. In your webinar, you talked a lot about setting boundaries, right?
Mhm.
And setting boundaries with other people. But ha- does that also apply? Because I'll say I'm my own worst enemy.
Mhm.
I feel like I can set boundaries perhaps with other people, but I don't set them well with myself, right? So I'm always kind of putting more on myself than maybe I should be. And
Yeah.
so I think that it's good to have permission to just not do for a minute.
I think I like have to reason with myself. Like, I'm much like you, right? Like, I actually texted my sister maybe like a month ago, and I'm like, man, this 37-year-old version of me does not have that same drive and energy that I used to have, boy, 2 years ago. Or like this second mom version of me. I'm just not, I don't have that get up and go, like burn the midnight oil, like kind of energy that I used to have. And I have like the best intentions, but I'm like, no, I'm done. I just can't go back to work tonight. So I think like it's important to recognize that the work is going to get done because you have to get the work done. And that's what I tell myself. I'm going to do the work because it has to get done. So knowing that, like, I just always ask the Lord for grace, like to multiply my time, because I feel like I have to honor like whatever my soul is saying in the moment. And if it's like, no, you're tired, go to sleep, then I'm just like, I'm gonna go to sleep, and I'll just have to wake up tomorrow to get it done. Like, you're gonna get it done. You just are. So you should just do whatever it is that you feel like doing in the moment and know that you're gonna get it done. That's
Yeah.
not very helpful probably, but
I think it is. I think it's a mindset. I think that's
yeah.
really what we're trying to help people understand is that it's okay to adopt a mindset where you can give yourself that grace, where you can take a minute
I don't
and
think it's good to sacrifice yourself and your needs for work. So I think like if I approach my life knowing that I'm going to get the work done, even if I'm getting it done in the midnight hour, even if I'm like procrastinating, I know I'm going to get it done. So I feel like it's important for me to honor whatever I need whenever I need it, and know that I'm going to show up when it's time to show up for myself.
yeah.
So, yeah.
What's the greatest thing you found in your house? Like what are you appreciating most right now in this crazy time?
Oh man. That's a really great question. I feel like I have a lot of different answers, which is why I'm kind of stalling. I think the first thing that I would say is when we moved into this house, we wanted to make this house a house that we would be excited to be in, because, as small business owners, the ebbs and flow of your income can make it hard for you to be able to do certain things. And so being stuck at home for me doesn't feel like a punishment, because I actually really love my house.
Yeah.
And I feel like, we've put things in place that make it really fun for us to be here together. Um, I'm really thankful to be an entrepreneur because we know how to survive. And so even
Yeah.
though we don't have income right now, we've been here before, and
Mhm.
often we go through this once a year. So this isn't new for us. This is not the end of the world. This is like, okay, we do what we have to do right now to kind of get things in place so that when it's time to move, we're ready to move. And that's kind of where we are right now. Like, we're like, okay, we can't do a lot of things but thank God no one else can either. So we're all hunkered down, and we're putting ourselves in position so that when the floodgates open, we're ready to receive whatever comes our way.
You
And
know,
that's a
we were
process.
I love that. We were talking the other day and you said, how did you say it? You said I feel smarter right now, right? We were talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the quarantine has taught us what we don't really need. It's like when things are taken away, you feel like, okay, perfect example. I have a friend who has been wanting to quit her job. She really wanted to come home and be with her family, but she is so used to that paycheck every 2 weeks, those health benefits, and so she just could not ever jump, even though everything inside of her wants to be home with her kids and watch them grow up. So just recently, her job laid her off because there's not enough work, and so she's home. And so when she texted me and was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm not, I don't have this job anymore," I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is what you wanted." And she's like, I'm not worried about the money. And I'm like, this is perfect, because now by choice or by force, you're having to learn that you can live without this thing. And this may like change your whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
feel like the quarantine does that to people. It's like, what? We have so much money right now. Like our gas tank is so full. Like we've been cooking together and eating at the table. We've been playing sidewalk chalk, and we're out in the backyard, and the kids are playing in water, and we're making and cooking together. And we weren't doing those things before because we felt like everything that we needed was on the outside. But
Yeah.
that's not the case. Like there's so much that we don't need from the outside. Like what we need is right here. And I think that's what the quarantine has taught me about my family is like, I mean, most of the things that we need are right here and have always been right here. But like the outside world can be a distraction. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So going back to and talking just for a minute about business and again being a small business owner,
Mhm.
I know that you've messaged out to your clients, but what are you guys doing? Like I know you said you have a big list of things that you're working on. What kind of things are you preparing client wise to jump
Yeah,
back
that's
in?
so we are cleaning up our drives. So our Google Drive, we use Shootproof. So we're going through our Shootproof and kind of cleaning up those galleries. We put some of our galleries on sale. So if people want to buy digital files from us, we have like this blanket price that sessions before 2018, you can come and kind of grab your digital files. We are going through all of our galleries and picking out our favorite images in each of the categories that we shoot in. So for us, it's like seniors, families, weddings, so that when we're speaking or when we want to do a blog post or an Instagram post, all of these pictures that we love are already in a folder, easy to grab. We've been writing captions for social media and just planning out our posts like months in advance so that they just go
Nice.
automatically. What else have we been doing? Oh, our own private personal memories. We've been cleaning those things up and getting them categorized and in folders and creating albums for our girls. Like there's just so much to do.
Wow. Yeah.
Going through old paperwork and getting rid of it, going through old emails and getting rid of it. Um, and then we've been reaching out to our current clients and just letting them know that we are still booking, that they can buy gift certificates or they can purchase sessions for up to a year from now. And then our current clients that we had, we gave them the option to either keep their session, gift their session, or reschedule, because we had like tulip mini sessions, so they could reschedule for next season if they wanted to. So, and
Nice.
we're also like recognizing that, there's obviously some disappointment for people who were expecting to have things like related to like holidays or whatever. So we're also being flexible to go do like lifestyle sessions in people's homes or go to like special places that mean something to them when all this is over, and just kind of documenting in that way.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm hearing you say too is just that there's a lot of communication, that you're just staying connected with them.
Yeah, totally. And even our seniors, like we have a senior model program, and when we found out that school was canceled for the year, that was devastating for those girls. And
Yeah.
so I FaceTimed them and we had a big FaceTime party, and I was like, okay, I'm a new adult. Unload, get your feelings out, say how you feel, like let it come out, and feel the disappointment, and like let me encourage you. And so that's what we did. And for our seniors, we're going to try to do a cap and gown session for every senior that we shot this year, just complimentary, so that they can leave this year with something. We'll do it all on one day, so it doesn't take too much out of us, but just a way to honor our clients and thank them for supporting us. So,
Yeah, I love that. And it just really builds your brand. It's who you guys are. It totally makes sense to me that you'd be doing
oh,
things
thank
like
you.
that.
Thank you.
Another thing that we talked about was telling your own story and how you guys are documenting the story right now of what's happening in your home.
So I had, much like many photographers, right? We buy these like workshops or these webinars, and then we like watch 5 minutes of them and get interrupted. And then we feel guilty. We feel guilty like taking the time to watch this stuff because we have so much work on our plate.
True.
So I cleared all the work off of my plate. We have absolutely nothing related to our business left to do right now. And I started kind of revisiting like these workshops that I bought and paid for. And I decided to like kind of practice like playing with light in my own house and just trying to see my house and my family differently. And that was really fun. And so I've been telling our quarantine story through like black and white images and like just like chasing the shadows and the light. And I also have been playing around with video and just like trying to edit video and like learn how to storytell better and watch other people's video, like just stuff like that, that
Yeah. Yeah.
with my own family, if I could like master that, maybe I could bring it into some of the work that I'm doing as a photographer too. So yeah, that's,
Playing,
yeah,
playing, you're playing.
yeah, seriously. And just like trying to anticipate moments better. And I mean, I have a 1 year old, so you just never know what's going to happen. Yesterday, she smeared her diaper poop all over the house. So it's just, that is, those are the things, right? Those are the things that are, I think, again, like we think that the memories and the exciting photography happens outside of the home, but that's not an option right now. So how can you make it exciting inside of the home? And what's going to be your story at the end of this
Yeah.
that you're going to tell? And so
Yeah.
those were questions that I asked myself, like, what do I want our story about this time to be? And what do I want the girls to remember? So,
Yeah. We started this conversation talking about that balance between, work and home life. And it's really interesting because that kind of is it, right? It's really appreciating both sides and
yeah,
finding a way to grow in the middle. And so I think that adding new skills and telling your family's story, I will say it's kind of like the shoemaker's son over here, at my house. I've been a photographer for a long time, and I do feel like, yeah, my poor children. They don't get photographed as often as they should be.
isn't that funny though? How we're just kind of like, this is not special enough, or this isn't important enough, but like these are what the special moments are built on, like the
Yeah,
unimportant things that we often overlook. Like I do my normal life with these girls way more often than I do a birthday with them or a family trip.
yeah, yeah,
And so these are the special moments. These are the day-to-day things that they're going to remember more than even the trip to Greece that we took them on last year.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
wanted to be able to have that for them.
As you're talking, one of the things, because we do a lot of education at PPA, and we talk to our members a lot about story and about sharing who they are, because people buy who they are, right? People buy from people they like. And trying to talk about why you do what you do and what is your story. And everybody's looking for their unique selling proposition, or whatever they're calling it this week. But I think what you're alluding to, what you're talking about, being able to put voice to your heart and why you do what you do, is a big part of your brand when you're talking to your clients, because they all know this about you, right? I
Right.
mean, from your blog posts and even your website, just getting to know you guys on a superficial level, and then kind of delving into your heart as they get to know you. So I want to point that out, because I want people to take that piece of it, and learn from you, and how you speak about your craft and how you speak about your love for your family, because that, I talk to you and I want to have you photograph my family.
Here's really where that actually comes from. I was born and raised in foster care, so I didn't have
Oh,
a
I love
family.
that.
Yeah, I didn't.
Wow.
And last week, my foster cousin brought over a box of pictures, and I was able to kind of collect all of the childhood photos of me, and there were probably like six.
Wow.
And
Oh,
I'm
wow.
never in a picture with anyone else. And there's no care for me. There's no,
Mm.
and I'm going to pass those pictures on to my girls, but they're not going to see a connection of like their mother with someone else. And so for me, and the reason why I got into photography, honestly, was because I wanted so desperately to have my own family, and I didn't. And when I started learning how to shoot, it was like I wanted to imagine, I guess, or pull out the things that I wanted for my own family. And now that I have my own family, like I don't want to forget why I started in the first place. Like what was the reason? Like what was the intention, And I want my girls, without ever, like if I were to go tomorrow, I would want them to be able to know how loved and adored and cherished by me they were, simply
Wow.
by looking at pictures. And I think that's the power of what we do. And I think it would be super sad to do that for everyone else and to forget to do that for ourselves.
So I would say we need to encourage our people listening to go do that. I mean, gosh, I would even encourage them We'll be putting this on Facebook Live. Photograph your family, post it here. We'd love to see pictures of your
Oh,
family, you
please.
know, and add your why. What's your story? Give us a little glimpse into your lives, because that's really what this is all about. Why else are we here? I have to just point out your picture right behind you of Courage and that sweet little face of hers.
Oh gosh, here, but yes, she's so sweet in that picture.
In that picture.
In that picture. No, she's actually very sweet. I probably messed up when I named her Courage. I'm definitely testing myself. So
Well, but you have wisdom too.
I do, yes, and wisdom leads, but they definitely are a pair and they need each other.
I
One
love
has
it.
to slow the other one down, and one has to push the other one out of the fold. So
Oh, that's awesome. They're so great. They're so great. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
No, that's
Yet another layer of my love for you. As we're kind of wrapping this up, is there anything else that you'd want to share with our sweet audience?
Man, I know that it's like so scary right now. And it's, as a business owner, I know that over the course of the last couple of weeks, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I choose the right career? Did I make the right choice? Like, here we are now in this situation. And I really started kind of second guessing whether I had made the right decision for my family being a photographer. Because who can anticipate something like this, right? Like, and here we
Yeah.
are, self-employed, and some relief doesn't apply to us, and we can't get unemployment, and there's just all of these things. But I think it's important to remember that when you build a integrous business of value, that you don't have to bring yourself or sustain yourself alone. Like, your community, the people around you, they also want to see you win, and people are not going to let you fall. So even if you get to the end of whatever, when it comes to this situation, I think that people, what I'm realizing through this quarantine is that people want to see us win. People want to see other people win. People want to see my family win. They don't want to see us go out of business. And I think what's going to happen when we come out of this, if you want to stay in business, is that people are going to do everything they can to support you. And I think it's not going to be, we talked about this yesterday, we can't depend on the government to protect us and to keep us afloat. It's going to be all of us helping each other and looking out for each other, and loving each other and supporting each other's businesses, and being there for each other. So do what you can and let the rest of it take care of yourself. And if you're a person who is feeling overwhelmed, like, deal in one day at a time. If you have everything that you need for today, you are winning. And that's really all that you can handle anyway. That's all you can do anything about anyway. So if I had any encouragement, I would say that. I would say take it one day at a time. Today could be terrible, but tomorrow you could get like a $5,000 check, or you could get a really amazing gig. And there's going to be a lot of businesses and people that are going to need a lot when this is all done. So just stay encouraged.
Thank you. Tosh, you are beautiful inside and out. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for joining us in it together. And I'm sure I'll be chatting with you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.